The West Midlands Combined Authority set an ambitious target for the region to be a zero carbon economy by 2041 when they launched their green paper #WM2041. The Combined Authority knew we wanted to help them fulfil this ambition and took up the challenge on behalf of the built environment to help reduce the region's carbon, which we all know is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. To get behind the Combined Authority and encourage participation in the debate, we brought together some of the region's best thought leadership. We believe that the response paper, making #WM2041 a reality, will inspire further collaboration, illustrate how seriously we continue to take the threat of climate change, and show our willingness to present a united front in the West Midlands. At a global level, climate change has increasingly been incorporated into societal and political discourse, debate and discussion, but without action being taken at the ground level, change may come too late. The responses and recommendations contained within our report provide a steer as to how the #WM2041 objectives and actions can be achieved, but what the sector needs now is an indication of the next steps. How can these actions be funded? Do we have the skills that we need? Can we afford to wait for new legislation, or can we change entrenched behaviours? There was a resounding sense of positivity surrounding this green paper, with each contributor applauding #WM2041 for its ambition and the diversity of its proposed actions. But it is clear that regional decision makers cannot do this alone, nor can industry take forward plans without political leadership.
Hello, I'm Deborah Cadman, Chief Executive of the West Midlands Combined Authority. Now, one of the biggest crises facing the West Midlands, or indeed the world, is the climate crisis. And the West Midlands Combined Authority is leading the way in how we tackle climate change and how we adapt to those changes that we can no longer prevent. In 2019, we declared a climate emergency and made 2041 our target date to be a carbon neutral region. In 2020, we launched the WM2041, our Climate Change Action Plan. The plan sets out 74 actions that we can all take to prevent and adapt to climate change. It's a plan that has been open to consultation to understand if this is the right approach to tackling climate change in this region. Now, RICS has worked with a number of companies in their sector to produce a formal response to that 2041 consultation. And that's 10 highly respected organisations that have worked with us to respond to the climate challenge. We really welcome this insight from industry, as it will take us all, and that's the government, local authorities, regional bodies, businesses, public services and each individual, to make changes to protect and enhance our environment. Now, this is just the start of the conversation, and it's a conversation that needs to happen in every schoolroom, boardroom and council chamber in the country. The Midlands led the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century, and that was a revolution that led to huge global changes for industry and wider society. And we want the West Midlands to once again be a global leader, but of a new green industrial revolution. And we really look forward to working with you all to achieve this. Thank you.
My name's Councillor Ian Courts. I'm leader of Solihull Council, and for the Combined Authority I have the portfolio responsibility for environment, energy and HS2. And I'm pleased to talk about the #WM2041. What that's about is achieving carbon neutrality in the region by 2041. But what I'll be telling you about later is that it's not just about carbon reduction and saving, it's linked with many other things. We always think that carbon reduction, the whole issue of climate change, can be taken along with things like air pollution and biodiversity, and indeed here we are near a watercourse and indeed some woodland, just to show that these things are all linked together. #W2041 is all about engagement, it's about consultation, it's about seeing what others think other than our own colleagues. You know, we want to get views, and I was so pleased that the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors has engaged into this project. Their views will be massively important to us, and I encourage others to take their lead and talk to us about what they think needs to be done, how they can engage with us, how they can join with us and the rest of the region in making action and making this agenda really hum in the region. 2041 is supported by research carried out by the Tyndall Centre, which links it indeed to the national target of carbon neutrality of 2050. So the things are all connected. We all know from just looking at the weather patterns we've had recently, and every time we turn on the TV, we're seeing amazing events, disasters around the world. We know we have to take action to deal with climate change. The Combined Authority has set the target of carbon neutrality for the West Midlands region by 2041. But carbon emissions are roughly 1/3 residential, 1/3 transport and 1/3 commercial. So you can see from that it needs action by everybody, and it needs action across a whole range of different sectors. So what we did with #WM2041 was to produce a green paper consulting on 74 actions that we think would be needed to bring about the carbon neutrality that we think we have to achieve in order to slow down the rate of climate change. You've heard me talk about green growth, and it's a phrase that you'll hear quite commonly. I think the thing we must realise is that this agenda has opportunities. It has opportunities for our business. It has particular opportunities for this region. This region was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, and we want to see it as the birthplace of the green Industrial Revolution. It's so important that we grasp these opportunities that are available to us. The sooner we take action, the better. And all of the proposals are front-loaded for the first 5 years, because the sooner that we actually plant trees, the more effective they will be, for instance, in capturing the carbon that we need to take out the atmosphere. And that's why we've made particular attention to the timescale in these proposals, to do as many things as we can in the first 5 years. But the reality is this will need action on a lot of fronts. And, you know, we must take action in a way that takes communities with us, that looks after those least able to help themselves, the vulnerable, and indeed there will be a transition for business as well. We know, for instance, in the West Midlands how dependent it is on the motor industry, and we need to preserve those industries and jobs. So, you know, there is a move to electrification. That's one of the examples. Well, that needs to be coupled with ideas of how we can improve EV charging points, electric vehicle charging points, in order to underpin the change that we will need in the region towards what would say is green business, green growth. Since launching this consultation paper, I've been delighted with the reaction from so many quarters to what we're doing. For instance, schools are very interested in it. After all, it's their future that we're trying to safeguard here. And I'm interested in the reaction of businesses as well. So many of them now want to do something. Staff want to do something. And this is what we need to get. We need a real spirit of cooperation. Let's get something done and make action on climate change a reality. Thank you.